Welcome to the Daily Reflection Podcast with your hosts, Michael L. and Lee M. This is the show where we strive to provide inspiration through interviews with members of the recovery community. The show is not affiliated with any 12-step or other recovery program, although you may hear them mentioned throughout the course of an interview. Hi, Lee. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm a little bummed out, though, Mike.
I know. This is not good news. We recorded an episode with Ann L. from Philadelphia for February 6th, a rallying point, and we had some unfortunate mishaps with the audio. Unfortunately, it wasn't captured properly, and we were unable to save it. So we'll have Ann L. back for another daily reflection later in the year. And what do you think, Lee?
You know what? It's the mishaps of a new podcast that we're feeling our way around, getting off the ground. So
wait a minute, is this progress, not perfection?
I think it's progress, not perfection. And yeah, it's a bummer, but we roll. This is how we roll.
Yeah. Well, what do you say we read the daily reflection? How about you kick it off for us?
Okay. So a rallying point. Therefore, step 2 is the rallying point for all of us. Whether agnostic, atheist, or former believer, we can stand together on this step. And that's from the 12 and 12 on page 33. I feel that AA is a God-inspired program and that God is at every AA meeting. I see, believe, and have come to know that AA works because I've stayed sober today. I am turning my life over to AA and to God by going to AA meetings. If God is in my heart and everyone else's, then I am a small part of a whole and I am not unique. If God is in my heart and he speaks to me through other people, then I must be a channel of God to other people. I should seek to do his will by living spiritual principles, and my reward will be sanity and emotional sobriety.
There's a whole lot of God in this one.
Yep, there is. I wonder what it means by the rallying point.
Well, I have to admit that I read this earlier and I wasn't quite sure myself. So I looked it up. I Googled it, and it basically talks about people with differing opinions about a subject coming together and agreeing to go forward, rallying from that point. You know, thinking about it in the context of recovery, step 2 is the rallying point. I mean, we're firmly in step 2, and this is where everyone needs to come together. We've agreed that we're desperate. We're in desperate condition from step 1 to go forward from here into the program and through the program. We all have to agree on one thing. What is that, Lee? What is that one thing?
We have to agree that there's a power greater than ourselves that can restore us to sanity. In other words, we're coming from an insane place. The idea that we can pick up a drink like other people without consequence and get restored to a sane position, which is acknowledging that we are an alcoholic and that there is a solution and we need to actually follow the solution, the suggestions for the solution.
Yeah. So we rally forth from step 2, all agreeing that there is something more powerful than ourselves. And I mean, that's roomy and inclusive, right? We've got folks that they consider themselves atheists and agnostics. They deny the existence or they don't know. And they come together. Some of my best friends fall into that category. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, how am I going to get through this program? Step 2 talks about God, and I don't believe in a God. You can do it.
Well, and I think, Bill and Bob in the first 100 told us in We Agnostics that more than half of the original were atheist or agnostic and not only didn't believe, but had an aversion. And they tell us that as soon as we are willing to even believe that there is a possibility of something greater than us out there, we're on our way. So it's really not relevant what that higher power is. It's just, are we willing to understand that it's not us?
I mean, does anything else jump out at you right away?
I love the idea that the writer says that AA is a God-inspired program and that God shows up at every single meeting. And, whether or not God breathed life into the program, I don't know. I think so. But I don't think anyone would argue that some sense of power greater than ourselves shows up at every meeting, and you can hear it in the voices of others as they share. You can see it in people as they pick up chips. for
Mm-hmm.
long time recovery. I mean, we're all sitting in a meeting, and for the most part, everybody's sober that day.
Miracle.
Yep.
Then it goes on. I like where it says, if God is in my heart and everyone else's, then I am a small part of a whole and I am not unique. If God is in my heart and he speaks to me through other people, then I must be a channel of God to other people. I mean, that places you in a whole different perspective. If you're in a meeting and you hear something, it might be God. And if you're in a meeting and you say something, that might be God. Pretty
That's
powerful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just shows that no matter how broken you are, when you come in, or I guess I can speak for myself. I mean, I was so broken when I came in. And I do remember people coming up to me after I shared in a meeting and saying, God, what you said really helped me. And I remember being kind of shocked by that anything I would say would help anybody, but we're all just carrying the message in the best way that we can.
Yeah. Beautiful.
What do you think about the last statement? That I should want, it's the should word, which I'm not always a fan of, but I should seek to do his will by living spiritual principles. And if I do, my reward will be sanity and emotional sobriety.
Mm.
Have you found that to be true for
Oh,
you?
without a doubt. And I like that it just says I should seek to do his will. I mean, these aren't the commandments. You should seek to do this. And if you do, you're going to be rewarded with sanity and emotional sobriety. I mean, I've absolutely experienced that. So,
Yep, I would have to agree. I like I like what you just said, that this is not about doing, it's about trying to doing the
yeah,
best we can. As you said, progress, not perfection.
beautiful. A rallying point. I love dissecting these daily reflections.
I feel that way every time we do one of these recordings or one of the interviews with our guests. It feels like God's in the room.
I believe it. All right, Lee. Thank you so much. Anything else to add before we wrap up?
No, just, get to a meeting. Don't take a drink today. Keep coming back. It works if you work it.
Beautiful. Thanks everyone for listening and for your support. If you want to join us online, we're on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/daily reflection podcast. We've got a blog where we write about recovery at blog.dailyreflectionpodcast.com. You can find us on Twitter at Daily Reflector. Would love to get a rating from you. It means so much in the placement of podcasts in search results. It would mean a lot. If you could give us a thumbs up on YouTube, maybe subscribe to the channel. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks to Anne for joining us today, and thanks to all the listeners, the supporters, and the guests. We're up over 50 episodes with over 4,000 downloads, and I just want to say thank you. If you want to support the podcast, you can give us a rating on Apple Podcasts or your podcast network. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Greatly appreciate every one of you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.